Fast forward to about 12:20 or so a little bit after noon, the noon hour. What happened? What did you see and what did you hear?
I heard an individual talking to Charlie, and I happened to kind of glance over the edge of the railing about that time. I could see the right side of Charlie's shoulder, so not his whole body, because he was underneath the tent, so I could only see probably the right side of his body. He was answering a question, kid asked him a question, and then I heard a shot fired.
Do you know what time that was?
Yes.
What time was that?
12:23.
What did you see?
At that moment, I saw him lean to the left, so
When you say him, you see
Charlie.
Charlie?
So I saw him go to the left because I could no longer see the right side of his body. So he went further underneath the tent to the north side of the tent, so left.
Okay. Can you describe the reaction of others that were there?
Yeah, so then everybody started getting up and starting to run in more of a chaos kind of situation.
Before you continue, can you describe a little bit? So you mentioned Mr. Kirk was answering questions, talking to individuals.
Yes.
Were there others present?
Yes.
Any idea about approximately how many? How would you describe it in your terms?
In my terms, I'd say when I was up there looking down, I'd say there were several thousand people, because you had it on the grass that was jam-packed, in the amphitheater sitting on the grass. You had people standing on the back up along the cement. You had people that were on the second level, the Sorensen, and over by the Woodbury building. There's another level there where a lot of people were standing and watching. So it was pretty packed, okay. Several thousand people. You mentioned
you heard something. What did you hear again?
I heard a gunshot.
Okay. And can you describe you described Mr. Kirk's reaction? Was that simultaneous to hearing the gunshot?
Yes, it was.
When he fell to the left?
Yes.
Did you see the reaction from the crowd?
Yes.
What was that?
Everybody kind of got up. They all said, a lot of people were screaming, standing up, and starting to run in all different directions away from the center of the tent.
Okay. You're a police officer, yes, helping to secure the area, correct?
Yes.
What did you do?
At that moment, I recognized it as gunfire. I left my post, which was right there on the south end of the Hall of Flags. I proceeded to right where the Fugle and the Hall of Flags meet. There's some outside stairs that I was starting to run down. As I was trying to get down to the bottom of the stairs, people were running up, people were laying down on the steps. I'm trying to jump over people to get to the bottom of the stairs so I can help stop an individual that's probably shooting.
What happened next?
By the time I got to the bottom of the stairs, I was informed on the radio that we had a shooter in custody. So I thought, at that moment, I was like, oh, that was kind of fast. Obviously, it was close range probably, because we had an individual in custody. Another officer came on and said we had an individual in custody. So I decided to, since the threat is gone, now I can assess for anybody that's injured and start looking for any medical needs that's needed at that moment. I started canvassing the area. As I canvassed the area, I was looking for anybody that was injured. I saw a kid on the ground that was on about the second or third tier in the grass next to a wheelchair, and he was almost convulsing. I thought he'd maybe been shot. Talked to the dad as I was running over there. He said that he was just having a seizure, that he was fine, he was not injured. So then at that moment, I observed that there was no other injuries that I could see at that moment.
Okay. Was your attention drawn to anything else at that time?
Yeah, so after we got some people kind of cleared away a little bit, I thought I needed to start preserving the scene because we had a crime scene. And with some of my experience and training to that effect, I decided now we need to contain the Losi building and proceeded to the south of the Losi building. There's some stairs, which is at breezeway between the computer science building and the Losi building. There's some stairs that go up to the top of that. And so I went to the top of that.
Is that the stairway that you previously described?
Yes, on the outside of the Losi building.
Okay. And it's a public stairway?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you make it to the rooftop?
I did.
Do you know about what time you got there?
I got there 12:44.
Okay. What did you do when you got on top?
When I got on top, I hopped over the guardrail. I noticed that there was an object which was sitting right about 10 or 15 feet in from the other side of the guardrail.
Of what you concluded in this case, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so I want to, if I could, return to 10, Exhibit 10, and in Exhibit 10, not 10, I'm sorry, your case file again. This is the 47-page document. There we go. What's the tab? 6. Okay. In your case file, you have produced for us some nice comparison photos of your comparisons, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if you would go to page 37. Is the top photo depicting one test fire on the left and another test fire from the same gun on the right?
Yes, it is.
So do you see areas of agreement and areas of disagreement in these two bullets fired from the same rifle?
I see sufficient agreement amongst the striations that are in this land impression.
Okay, and tell us where they are. When you draw that conclusion, using this subjective theory of identification, show us what you're looking at.
Is it touchscreen?
Probably,
No, it's not.
No.
I'm sorry.
but we can, if you direct us, we can get there with a pointer.
Sure. So you can see towards maybe the last third of the bullet or the land impression that, yes, right where your cursor is below there, that's an area of agreement with that striation. It looks like it's going from the left to the right, so that mark is appearing on the test fire on the left and the test fire on the right. Then if you look towards the top of that land impression, there's going to be some more lighter colored striations or lines that are moving from left to right. Those areas are in agreement as well.
Where is that? Not as far up as where he is, correct? It's down?
Yes, and I believe the PowerPoint that I provided does have some areas and circles of some of these marks, if that would help as well. But if you move your cursor up, continually up, keep going. There you go. You have a line that was right there, and you have several others underneath of it that looks like it's going just straight across from left to right, and that shows an observed area of agreement.
So that one he's got circled on the right, I see a line there. Are you saying you see a line on the left that it's identical to the one on the right?
I'm saying I see agreement amongst those striations, yes.
Okay, anything other than those two areas?
You can really go down the entirety almost of that line looking at those striations. So under the top red circle, there's another area there. Yep, if you start right there and you draw your circle over, like I said, at the top of the circle, there's a highlighted line on the left that goes all the way to the right. If you go a little bit farther down, maybe still in the top third of that circle, you can see another line going from one side to the other, another area of agreement as well. And then under the final third circle, in a little darker area down there, there's still some lines, again, in sufficient agreement.
Okay, and again, these are comparisons between test fires. So you know the rifle that you're test firing fired these two bullets, right?
Yes, and the
Okay.
purpose of those test fires is to ensure that though it was fired from the same firearm, you want to make sure that those individual characteristics are reproducing.
All right, so go to the photo on the bottom of that page. This is the first of several comparisons between the test fire on the left and 6A on the right, correct?
Yes,
And what does the writing on the top mean, blue index GIMP?
So that will be, the first number there is the case number, the laboratory case number. Then next 1.11B is going to refer to the specific test fire that's on the picture. And then V versus 6A, so that's the evidence that's also pictured. GIMP stands for groove impression, so I'm looking at a groove impression in this photo. Blue index means I'm specifically looking at the groove impression that I have put a blue indexing mark on so that I know where I am during the comparison process.
Okay.
30X refers to the magnification that the photo was taken at, and then INC refers to inconclusive, the final conclusion.
So I'm interested in the areas of disagreement. Are there areas of disagreement between the known and the unknown here that you could point us to?
Groove impression.
Okay. But there are in these photos areas of disagreement as well as areas of agreement, correct?
In the photo that we just looked at, it could be possible areas of disagreement. Again, it's just one area that I'm looking at. It's hard to tell when you can't look at the entirety of the land in this moment.
Now this, you can take that down, please. Do you keep up with the literature relevant, scientific literature relevant to your field?
I do, yes.
And are you aware of certain criticisms that have been leveled against this AFTE theory of identification?
I have heard, yes, I've heard recommendations on how to improve the AFTE theory of identification, yes.
Well, the criticism have gone beyond that, right?
Specifically, what are you referring to?
Well, you're aware that the National Resource, the Natural Resource Council?
The National Academy of Science?
National Academy of Science?
Yes.
Is that a pretty preeminent scientific organization in this country?
Yes.
Did they conclude in 2009 that, quote, a fundamental problem with tool mark and firearm analysis is the lack of a precise
He continues, the squad car was moved further away enough that I should be able to move in. I backed off because I thought I heard footsteps, maybe a foot patrol, but the crickets here are so loud. Gonna see if the road closer to campus is open so I can drive past and check it out. Probably still closed off though. Getting worried, hard to know for sure, but I'm not finding my rifle. Could be in the wrong spot. Lance says, do you think they found it? And Tyler says, dunno, they haven't published anything if they have. And then Lance says, why did you leave it behind?
Oh, sorry, Kimberly, if you could scroll down.
Originally. Also, does it have a serial number?
We could scroll to page 7. And I'll continue reading. I'll stop you on this page in a little bit.
Okay. So Tyler continues, IDEK, if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me, I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits, didn't have the ability or time to bring it with.
And stop there, please. And then if we could go to the next page, page 8. And if you could start at the top.
Okay, so Lance says, was your change of clothes there or was that also gone? Or did you bring those with you originally? Anyway, you could replace the gun or would he notice? And then Tyler says, only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. I'll bet that canine sniffed it out. Little snitching bastard. Replace it unlikely. I don't fully know what the gun was because it was old as shit and Gramps did some modifying. There was a 4-digit serial on it. God only knows who it's registered to. Hopefully some dead guy who gave it to Grandpa. And he continues, remember how I was engraving bullets. Messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke.
And then continue, I'll stop you in a moment.
He says, all right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really sucks.
And let me stop you there. And then if we could go on to the next page, page 9. And do you see the first blue message we see on page 9? Can you start there?
Yes. So Lance says, do you need it for hunting? And Tyler says, no, my dad wanted to use a high caliber for the rifle hunt. Judging from today, I say Gramps' gun does just fine. IDK. I think that was a 2K scope. Lance says, geez. And then Tyler says, OMW home 3.5 hours. Lance says, drive safe. And then Tyler says, delete this exchange.
And I'll stop you right there. And then, sorry, we're on page 9. If we can scroll to page 15. And then the second grade message on page 15, if you could start there.
Okay. So this is Tyler. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. We hope to keep things sort of quiet here.
And then I'll stop you there.
Okay.
And we can remove the exhibit from the screen. Thank you, Kimberly. We mentioned a Cellbrite extraction of Mr. Twiggs' phone. Do you know what time that last text was sent?
Yeah, I recall it was just before 8 p.m. on September 11th. It was, I think, 7:42 p.m. is my recollection.
I'm sorry, September 11th?
Yes.
Would September 12th make sense, or you're saying September 11th?
So September 11th was when he turned himself in. It would have
Okay.
been September 11th, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.